So after my little break due to my ear infection and being sick, I am back, and today I wanted to start with a more laid-back video, kind of chill, and I want to share my book collection with you guys. My books, my CDs, basically giving you a tour of my collection. I want to do this because there are books and stuff that I have not talked about on the channel yet that I will eventually talk about, or books that I may not talk about that I want you guys to be aware of exist, that I've read, that are a part of me, and I want to show you guys what I have. Now, this is going to take us across my apartment because I live in a very small apartment with, begrudgingly, my mother and my best friend, Gus. And so me and Gus have our books spread out across the apartment. Now, the thing is, I will point out what is Gus's and what is mine. Basically, anytime I come across a book section or a handful of books that are Gus's, then I will point out to you guys that those are his and not my books. Now, for those of you who don't know, who haven't been on this channel very long, or just haven't picked up on it because my friends have changed over the years, Gus is one of my best friends. We have been friends since high school, kind of on again, off again friends, went through some tumultuous times there just after high school, but after college, when I looked at him and said, I'm moving the hell out of this town, do you want to come with me to California? He said, basically, fuck yeah. And we have been living together ever since. And despite our families not understanding or being able to wrap their brains around the idea that people of the opposite gender can be best friends, we are not dating. And we have had to defend that a lot, but we are not a couple. That is one thing I just want to put out there. I am painfully single. He is painfully single. And we both just kind of live with that right now because we're healing ourselves and doing our own stuff. But he is one of my absolute best friends. So because my mom is very much in her own world, thinks she's the center of the universe, she took the master bedroom in this apartment, and me and Gus share a bedroom. So all of our stuff is like spread out between what little space we have in the bedroom and here in the living room. So our books have like slowly shifted around the apartment into different places. So you're gonna get like a mini apartment tour based on where our books are in this apartment. But I did want to show you guys this collection, so let's get into this. Let me show you the insanity that is my collection. So we're gonna start with the newest addition to where my collection goes, which is this lovely cart that we got at Michael's just a little bit ago. And so right here is all like my writing notebooks, music notebooks, writing stuff. That's all this. This is my photo card booklet for my K-pop photo cards. And then over here is a small collection of books. I've got my tarot journal, my tarot book. This is Egyptian myths, 𝘊𝘥𝘪𝘳𝘢 because grammar is hell, a Harry Potter spell book, Skyrim, that's not Howl's Moving Castle, that's below. This is my, this is my plants. This is, I got this at one of the parks out here, which is Cacti in California, because one of my books took place out here, and I wanted to get some of the plant life correct. As well, there is one K-pop album in this collection, and that is SHINee's, because why is this so big? Like, why? Like, what is the point of this? Why is it so big? I love SHINee, but this doesn't fit anywhere else. Moving down on the card, I have my creative section, so this is all scrapbook and scrap paper and stuff. Underneath all of this, it's a little hard to see because it's buried, but I do have a book, The Art of Howl's Moving Castle. I should have moved all this, but I have The Art of Howl's Moving Castle, and underneath that is The Art of Assassin's Creed 4, which I used to help me write Searching for Home. I've also got a sketchbook and an art book here. This one is Chibi Animals. And down below, I have a book on astrology, as well as a bunch of random magazines that we have bought throughout our years of being stuck at cash registers. And behind this, that I am not going to show you guys, but behind this is all my drafts. Every draft I've ever written for every book is back here, stashed neatly away and out of sight. This is where I keep them because I don't have, like, eventually I think I might, like, get a safe box or something to put it in, but for right now, it's just nicely tucked away in the back corner. From here, we move over to my desk, which is, as always, a mess, but I have two of Junghyun's albums here. These are his, my favorite albums of his, Poet, Artist, and She Is. Those are over here on my shrine. I have Dobbin's album, Legacy, on my shrine as well. So then we come here to this, which is my, important albums, albums that changed my life, albums that had like a meaningful impact on me. 𝘊𝘍𝘐𝘮's album and Junghyun's are in that category, but they have special places, whereas these ones just are all together. The bottom one is BAP's Matrix album, which was the album they made after they came back from suing TS Entertainment, which was chef's kiss, glorious moment, amazing moment in K-pop history. Above this, we have FT Island's Where's the Truth, SHINee's Story of Light, Key's Face, SHINee's Everybody, ATEEZ's Episode 2. There's 2 small albums here, Dean's Trouble. Yeah, that was Trouble. Yeah, Dean's Trouble and Fall Out Boy's Save Rock and Roll. Taemin's self-titled Japanese album, I think it's considered his first Japanese full album. We have 5 Seconds of Summer's Calm, Hilary Duff's Breathe In, Breathe Out, Taylor Swift Sparks Fly, and Taylor Swift Red. Both Taylor's versions, despite the fact that I don't actually like Taylor Swift anymore, the albums were important enough to me that I got the Taylor's versions. Then I have my 𝘊𝘥𝘪𝘵𝘪𝘯𝘨 35X, or well, 35, I'm not actually sure how you're supposed to say the title of that one, but that 𝘊𝘥𝘪𝘵 album. The 𝘊𝘥𝘪𝘵, I have the Storm album. I am missing Ambitions. I do want to own that one. That is on my to-get list. 𝘊𝘍𝑁's album Giggles, 𝘊𝑍𝑒𝑏's Ike Cool, which I was reminded of all the stuff that happened with Rem recently. So in my Ike Cool album, I did this because I don't like people taking credit for things they didn't do. After Ike Cool, though, is DPR Ian's collection. I have this one, which was Dear Insanity, Focus, maybe. I have Dear Insanity, and then I have Mido 1 and 2. I'm hoping with the hybrid album I will be able to get it because I haven't been able to get Arctic's or Cream's album. And if I get the hybrid album, I'm obviously going to need to find more room on here. Continuing onward, we now get to books. The main reason we are here. So this is my small collection of important books or just current books. A Curse as Dark as Gold is one that I'm currently rereading. I haven't read it since I was young. And I remember loving it. It's a Rumpelstiltskin retelling, and I remember loving it, but it's been a long time. A Deadly Education, this is the Solomancy series, I believe. That is on my TBR. I will be reading that after this book. Then The Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches, I absolutely adored, so I bought a physical copy. This one, The Devotion of Suspect X, this is my friend Nina's copy. She sent it to me because she got a different copy for herself and she wants me to read this, so this is on my TBR as well. Then we have Dead Silence, one of my absolute favorite horror books of late, Howl's Moving Castle, which I just finished and loved. And then my 3 books, Searching for Home, Blood of the Coven, Planet 737. This I found in a store here, which is Ghosts and Legends of Calico, which is out where I live here in California. And then these are the books that I still need to read. These are Yahtzee Crowshaw's books that I have borrowed from my brother. It's been years at this point, and I still have not read or returned them to him. I'll get them to him at some point. Following this, we have one of Gus's book sections. These are a lot of just different books that he has gotten fairly recently. This one's not recent, but I think most of these are all newer. But we haven't got around to reading them yet. We met Kiri at one of the Ren fairs that we went to, and so this is her book that both of us still need to read, despite it being so long. We have the other book of hers, I believe it's in the bedroom as well. Other than that one, all of these are Gus's, and I don't really know much about them other than Legends and Lattes, which he absolutely adored and wants me to read as well. And now we come to the bookcase, where most of the books are housed. We'll go cubicle by cubicle through all of them, because there are a lot of books in here. So starting up top here, we have my favorite book series right now of all time, The Gentleman Bastard Sequence by Scott Lynch. This is absolutely amazing, and that's why it's up front. This is my guitar chords book hiding up here because I don't really know where to put this right now. I'm running out of room. But below that, I have the spin-off series of Cassandra Clare's about Magnus and Alec. I love those two characters, so when they got their own spin-off series, I had to own it. Behind these, we have, if you look back there, I'm not going to pull them out, all those books from this one over are the Mortal Instruments series, or the prequel series. They're books that I bought or were bought for me ages ago. But I don't like the series anymore, but I don't really want to get rid of them because they were important to me. So they sit in the back of the shelf. Following that, I have a special edition of Black Beauty that I found. This is one of my absolute favorite childhood books. So when I saw this at Barnes & Noble, I had to have it. Back here, I have my John Green collection. I have not read all of them. Blasphemy, I know. I know I've read A Fault in Our Stars and Paper Towns, but I have not read Looking for Alaska or An Abundance of Catherines. Those are two that I still need to read all these years later. This is a Loki series that one of my friends bought me that I need to finish reading. I read the first book. I wasn't super big on it. There are parts of it that I kind of didn't like, but I'm interested enough that I am going to finish the series and keep going. And behind that, I have one of my favorite YouTube authors, Alexa Dunn. I have her book, Pretty Dead Queens, that I absolutely adore. I need to reread it again because it's been a minute. And with that, I have my original version of Black Beauty. So that goes back there as a special collection so it doesn't get harmed, while the new edition goes here so I can reread it. Moving down below this, I'm not going to pull any of these out because this is my Harry Potter collection. I do not support the author in the slightest. I hate her. But I got all these books and all these movies before everything came out and everything happened. And so this series means so much to me that it does have a section. Because someday I'd like to take Harry Potter and, like, make my own spin on it in my own author journey and make a book with a spin on it that is better. So they have their own section because of how meaningful it was to me growing up, as well as all my Pokemon. I love my Pokemon. Continuing over from there, I have these two books, The Children of Blood and Bone and The Children of Virtue and Vengeance, neither of which I have read and I feel horrible about because when these came out and this got popular, I bought these because I wanted to support a Black author. We didn't have enough Black authors at the time of these books and I still haven't had a chance to read them, but I wanted to show my support by buying the books because that is the best way to support an author nowadays. These are on my TBR. I may get to them this year, I may not, but these are on my TBR and I will eventually read them. This book, Just Listen. So this, let me move all my things. This is my favorite book of all time. There's a lot of personal things in Just Listen that hit my life and notes about my story that no other book has. I know Sarah Dessen is not everyone's favorite type of author. She's young adult, kind of realistic romance, and not everyone vibes with that, but this book changed my life when I was a kid, and to this day, it is still one of my absolute favorite books. Now, behind those three, I have the Crazy Rich Asians series, which I also need to finish. I've only read the first one. Two other Sarah Dessen books that I have read and loved. Daisy Jones and the Six, which was recommended to me by Nina, and she also made me fall in love with this book. Shadow and Bone I bought because I was curious, and I still haven't had a chance to read it. That is also on my TBR. We'll Save the Galaxy for Cash, one of my now absolute favorite sci-fi books. 𝘊𝘲𝘥𝘪 is an amazing author. If you like video games, you should go check out his game Starstroke Vagabond as well. It has been time-consuming in the best way. This is To Sleep in a Sea of Stars, which I started it. I got a decent amount of the way into it, but this is the bane of my dyslexic existence because of how small the font is. Like, there is so much tiny font packed into these pages. I could not read this without getting a headache for very long. So I picked up the audiobook, and that's a 30-plus hour audiobook. Eventually, I'm going to finish this book. For now, it's just too much. This was a book I got from a blind bag at Barnes & Noble. I'm not sure if I'm actually going to read it or not. I like horror, but I'm not sure how I feel about this. So eventually I may read it, and for now it's just one of the shelves. I bought the Stephen King book when I moved out of Washington as a final goodbye to the state. Last book I bought there. Still haven't read it yet, 4 years later, but I'm gonna get there because I love Stephen King. And this is the sequel for Margaret Atwood's Handmaid's Tale that finally came out. I still haven't read it because Handmaid's Tale broke me in the best way possible, but I will eventually read this sequel and give my thoughts on it as well. That is a future J endeavor, though. Continuing down now, we have Gus's section. So this is Gus's Witcher collection. Witcher is one of his absolute favorite book series. He owns like 2 different copies of the whole series. This was a special artwork version we found at Barnes & Noble, and he's got that. He's got some art books, some of the comics. He has so much Witcher stuff. He's got, as you can see, all the Funko Pops. So this I made specifically for him, so that he'd have like a whole section just to look at for his Witcher collection. Below that is another section that's kind of Gus's and kind of mine. This is kind of like a mixed bag section. So we have Gus's Dragon Age book down here, and then his World of the Witcher book. And then he has Fourth Wing, which I still have not read. He read when it came out and he loved it. Now the author's gone and ruined it, but he did like Fourth Wing. This is Erin Morgenstern's book, the author of Night Circus. Gus has not read the sequel yet, but that is on his TBR as well because he absolutely adored Night Circus. Next to that, we have A Wrinkle in Time trilogy, which is also Gus's. He absolutely loves that series. Iron Widow we bought so both of us could read it, and once again, we still haven't gotten there yet. We're not good at keeping up on our reading. We're working on it. Beside this, we have a couple of graphic novels of his that he bought that he loved. Then, of course, Night Circus, which came recommended from him. Hilariously, this one, he got in a blind box. We both got a blind box, and I got the horror book, and he got this copy of Night Circus. So he kept the pristine newer version and gave me his old version of Night Circus. So now we have 2 copies. And then over here, he has this series that he found that he absolutely adores, Carry On and Wayward Son. I don't know if he read the sequel yet. I think he did, but I just know that he absolutely loves that series. Continuing over still on the bottom shelf, this is our kind of hodgepodge section, I guess. There are a lot of different books in this particular section here. We have Marvel Myths and Legends, which is Gus's, The World of Critical Role, which is Gus's. These are a collection of poem and fairy tale books, all of these. Witchcraft, The Art of Noticing, a couple of Wicca books, an Irish book of mine that I love, Celtic myths, Egyptian hieroglyphs, astrology, and an encyclopedia of gods. This is just, like, a weird mix of books here. And there's nothing behind this. This shelf is just this weird conglomerate of books. They all just kind of exist here. Moving up, we have this shelf, which is kind of a classics section. So this is the Winnie the Pooh collection that my mom got for me and my brother when we were kids, and it came with this little stand that it's in. So obviously I took it because I love the classic books and I love Winnie the Pooh. So I have this Winnie the Pooh collection. Behind that, though, is my dad's Easton Press books. If you know what Easton Press is, then you kind of understand that these books are very, very expensive. Easton Press is, I don't know how best to explain them, but they're like specialty book binders, basically. They take books and they give them really special bindings. So I have The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes, and it has the gilded edges and stupid tiny font, as per usual with these kind of books. And it's got all this gold and gild and everything. And yes, it was my dad's first, but he doesn't read, and I actually do. So I kind of took them. Next to that is the entire Hobbit series from Easton Press. Now, I have not read all of them. I'm gonna be honest. I only read The Hobbit, and I could not read the first one, and neither could my brother. Me and my brother love The Hobbit, and we struggled with The Lord of the Rings, but we love the series, and we love the movies, which is why I have this, which is the music of The Lord of the Rings. This is a music sheet book that is just all the sheet music And hold on. So this is all about the music and how it was written and the stories behind the music in the Lord of the Rings films. And I absolutely adore this book and the Lord of the Rings. But I cannot stand reading those books because I love Tolkien, but this man loves nature too much for even my taste. Other than that, we also have a recent addition to the classics collection, which is the Odyssey that Gus bought one time when we were at Barnes & Noble. And then another book collection is this. This is the Beatles Complete Score. And fun fact about me, I actually don't like the Beatles as people, and I don't like the way they produce their music. But their music was good, and their music was legendary and beautiful and completely changed the industry. So I love their music, but I don't like them. Them may get me some hate, I'm aware. Continuing a little bit with the classics, we come over to this shelf, which is kind of a weird mix. So I have The Great Gatsby, which is one of my absolute favorite books. Snowflower and the Secret Fan, A Light Between Oceans, and A Handmaid's Tale were all books that I read in school that changed me in some way, or left such a big impression on me that I have kept the books, even though it's been almost 10 years since I graduated, and definitely over 10 years since I read them for class. On the other side, in like the classic ideas, I have Coraline, which is not necessarily a classic, but I do love Coraline, as well as To Kill a Mockingbird, which is another big book in school that I loved. And this is not a classic, but this is... Oh, there goes 𝘓𝘁. This isn't a classic, but this was a Fifth Doctor Who story, and the Fifth Doctor is one of my favorites from the entire series, so I absolutely adored the writing in this. Never looked up to see if this author's done anything else, but I might at some point. Now that 𝘓 is out of the way, though, back here there is another collection of books. This is the Wicked Wit collection. You can find this at Barnes & Noble, I believe. And then I was waiting for last to say this, but this is the Warriors collection. This is the cat book that was super popular when I was a kid, and I devoured this series. I have the first series, the second series, and the third series. These books were my life, and they meant the world to me. And one thing I love about these, because these were from such a pivotal time in my life, this book is my history. Because as you can see, it is well worn. I took it to school with me. I had it in my bag. I took it everywhere. I read this book so many times. So this is like a time capsule for me, because you've got my old, stupid teenage signature. Not even teenage. This was like elementary school J. My old signature. You've got, it's really kind of hard to see, but you've got, oh, there it is, yeah. Teeth marks from cats that have passed away that chewed on my books. Like, this is a time capsule of a book. And I genuinely loved this series. Even though I don't know if it was ever true, but I did hear that Aaron Hunter was the name for, like, several different writers and it wasn't one author, which was a little disappointing with how much I loved this book. But it does kind of make sense looking back. So, not a book that I, like, love now, but, like, it is a moment in my life that I don't ever want to get rid of. Now, we'll just shove 𝘓 back in there where she belongs. Tucked in nicely. The final part of the bookshelf. So, this is kind of a little hard to see, because I have my satchel and everything down here, and it's a lot of black cases. But this is kind of my DVD collection of concert DVDs. So this is Big Bang's concert, Shiny, I think this is a Block B special, this is Woods, this is Icon back here that you can't see, and this, yeah. And then behind all of these is my CD collection, which I'm not even gonna get into. These are CDs that I have owned since I was in high school, CDs that I have gotten when I was back in middle school. There are a lot of, like, old cut CDs back here that I've just stashed away and kind of keep hidden. The only one that is moderately important, if you guys want to know more about me, is this one. Because this is my favorite movie of all time, and I own the soundtrack for it as well, because the soundtrack is fire. It's so good. This is the only CD in this back section that actually matters. And this big black case that was there, this, which I need to update because there are new albums that have not gone in yet, this is my K-pop collection. So I cannibalized a lot of my K-pop albums and then instead put them in here as an old CD collection. This is so much easier storage-wise. This has made it much nicer to be able to have space on my shelves. It's just made everything a lot easier to store it like this. And there are a lot, because I got really, really into K-pop. Like, so I've organized this somehow in the order in which I got them. I know Block B was the very first K-pop album I ever got. Blockbuster was the very first one. And then the following Christmas, my mom bought me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 K-pop albums. Like, I told Mom I like K-pop, and she's like, cool, have some K-pop. And this is the spiral that it has taken. And that isn't even the end of the K-pop collection, because this is all the K-pop collection that has not gone into the CD holder because the cases I've wanted to keep. So, like, I've got 17, focus, 17, a couple of ATEEZes, Shiny's voice, bass. This is a Shiny one, isn't it? Or is that? No, that's BTS hiding in there. 2 more of Junghyun's albums, a bunch more ATEEZ. There's ATEEZ and Stray Kids, 17. And then we come to a couple of my concert DVDs again. This is my absolute favorite concert DVD. It is my 𝘊𝘥𝘪𝘗 Ambitions tour. I love it so much. This is Ryan and Kelly, which is one of my Irish artists that I adore. I have my one and only EXO album, despite loving the group. Back here, these are a little hard to get to, but it was easiest to store them this way. This up here is a GOT7 concert, iKON's debut album, AB6 concert. This is Jungkook's album. This is 17 concert. This is a photo book for the K-drama 𝘓𝘓𝘗. I think it's pronounced 𝘓𝘓𝘗. My mouth is kind of dry, so I'm probably saying it wrong. This is my only Ace album that I own, which I am excited because I'm going to be seeing them in concert at the end of the month, and Ace is one of my absolute favorite K-pop groups, so I am so excited for that. This is a Stray Kids album, this has got 7, and then these are all 17. So, what started with Blockbuster has turned into this. So that covers this whole section, this whole bookshelf. There's a lot on this bookshelf. The last really big part of this bookshelf are these, which we just did recently over, we got these kits for Christmas. So this is Leola's paw prints, and this is Yennefer's paw prints. We wanted to make sure that in case anything ever happened to them, we have reminders of them. Ain't that right, Bubba? Oh, focus. Here's the boy. He's the boy. Now, the final section to this is here in mine and Gus's bedroom. So I'm sorry if it's a little echoey. There's not a lot of room when you have 2 beds in one small bedroom. This is the other Witcher series of his that we talked about. This we just got him. It is a full collection of his Dark Materials, which I still need to read because Gus adores this series as well as The Mists of Avalon. These are 2 books that he wants me to read. One of my cousin's moms passed away, and in her book collection was Oliver Twist and Lord of the Rings, and they knew how much Gus loved those, so they gave them to him. We found the sequel to Mists of Avalon at one of the bookstores down in LA, and we grabbed that as well. Bookshops and Bone Dust, this is the prequel, isn't it? Yeah, this is the prequel. Gus wasn't as big on the prequel, but he still enjoyed it nonetheless. Sir, can I go anywhere in this apartment without you absolutely stalking me and following me? You gonna hide behind the blinds? There's the boy. There's the boy. Okay, bye. Bye, butt. And that's not even all of it. We have more books in the garage and under, I think I have a couple stashed under my bed in the very back corner that don't have places either. So this is just like maybe 3/4 of our collection that is continually growing every time we're left alone in a Barnes & Noble. So there you go. There you have it. Those are all my books, all my CDs, all my stuff that makes me me, and all of Gus's collections as well. We hopefully someday want to get a bigger bookcase or just something else to put all our stuff in one conglomerate in one place. But for right now, it is as spread out as it is. If you guys have any questions or want to talk about any of the books or groups or CDs or artists that I showed today, comment down below and I'll gladly start up discussions with you guys. I am happy to finally be feeling better enough to be able to record, and I'm hoping to get some new videos out for you guys soon, but I thought I'd start it slow, give myself a little bit of an ease into all of this, and getting back to recording again. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I really love being able to share my collection and talk about this stuff with you guys, and stay tuned for all the new stuff that is to come.